Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 38th TWitWoW monthly Q&A. It is August of 2019, and we are here to answer all of the questions that you all have asked since our last Q&A in July. We ended up with exactly 45, and we're always talking about how we want to always try and end up somewhere between 45 and 65. So can I just say, fucking nailed it, guys. Great job. We got exactly 45 questions. We have 3 from Hypothesis to start things out. But before we get to that, John, just let everyone know how you're feeling, my dude.
I'm feeling pretty great, man. It's Q&A time. We know that this time gets crazy. Lots of different questions of varying tones and whatnot. So take a deep seat, everybody, and let's get into this, man. Let's do it.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's get into this. Before we do get into this, though, I want to let everyone know YouTube has some new functionality, a way for you guys to support the channel. I just saw this on the live dashboard, actually. As it turns out, you guys already knew about super chats, and you've been using those for, I would say, maybe like a year or two now. But now YouTube has introduced a new function called super stickers, where you can go into the same menu that you use to find super chats. You click on super sticker, and they've got a whole bunch of different options, and we will see a cut of whatever you decide to pay to use the super stickers. So that's a pretty cool little new thing. And you know, if you would rather just use the super chat and have your voice be heard, that's totally understandable. But super stickers are now an option, so you can check that out. That being said, though, let's get right into this Q&A, John. We are going to start things out, like I said, with our 3 questions from Hypothesis. First off, if Marvel scored a deal with Nintendo, which characters would you want to see playable in Super Smash Ultimate? And he wants each of us to name 5.
Now, this is Marvel, right, that you said struck a deal with Nintendo?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, so each of us to name 5. I'd say Iron Man, Doctor Strange, definitely, because I think he's my favorite Avenger at present. So Iron Man, Doctor Strange. Black Widow, just because I think she'd be fun to play, and she'd kind of be in like that snake role.
Yeah, she would probably use like a really similar moveset and play style to Zero Suit Samus, if I had to guess.
Yo, in terms of like playability and fun that you can have in games, because I'm trying to like differentiate between games and cinema, Ant-Man would be fun as hell, so I'm gonna say him too. So that's 3.
I thought that was 4. You said Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Black Widow, and now...
Okay, yeah, 4, you're right, 4. So then my last person, I think, would just be... because I'm thinking, like... Yeah, you know what, fuck it. Doctor Doom, baby. You need a good villain. There you go, it's perfect.
I mean, we already have King K. Rool, right?
That's true. That's true.
It's not like they've strayed away from villains. Hell, we even have Ridley now at this point. Christ.
Yeah, that is true.
They haven't strayed away from adding villains. But yeah, I would want the Hulk for sure, because you got to have your big beefy guys that hit hard but are really slow. Hulk would fit that. I would say Galactus would probably fit that too. And then you've always got to have your smaller, speedier guys. So I would also say Silver Surfer. That would be pretty dope. Let's see. Rocket Raccoon would be really fun to play with, I think, because of all the little like tech gadgets that he has. That would be really fun.
Absolutely.
And for my 5th, who would be like my OP choice? Like, who would I pick that would be like OP in game? I mean, you already took 2 of the best sorcerers. You got Doom and Strange. You
could still do Scarlet Witch, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. That's a really good option. She'd be the fucking Bayonetta of Smash.
There you go.
Bayonetta was already the Bayonetta of Smash, but I mean like a new version of Bayonetta. Like, she would be the new version of Smash 4 Bayonetta, you know?
Right.
All right, guys. So that was fun. Let's get to our second question from HPT. How far do you see Ash going in the Alola League? He said that round 1 is a 151 Pokemon Battle Royal, where the final 16 go on to a single elimination tournament, the winner obviously winning the Alola League.
I mean, in my time watching Pokemon, which admittedly wasn't nearly as long as the diehards, I won't even try and pretend. But I've just always known Ash to be a failure, so he'll probably go to the finals and then lose like he usually does.
You know what though? The one league that he has ever won wasn't an actual like traditional Pokemon battle league. It was the Orange League. Do you remember that?
Yeah, faintly.
Well, and the Alola thing is similar though. Like the Alola region, they don't really have proper gym battles. They have like challenges and shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he won the whole thing. If not, I would say he's probably going to make it to the finals and lose.
So we essentially agree then, because I pretty much said the same. Like, yeah, he'll lose in the finals. So
yeah.
All right. Next question.
Third and final question from HPT. Which bald wrestler would you want to see play Ant-Man's arch nemesis Egghead in the MCU?
Ciampa.
Yes.
He's such a good heel. Like, yes. Yes.
Wow. I like how I didn't even like have time to think, and you didn't need time to think. You just fucking knew instantly when you heard.
Because you always go with the daddy material. Oh, what a man.
When you heard bald and villain, you immediately went to Ciampa.
God, I can't wait to say, you beautiful bald fuck, when he returns. Oh, it's going to be so good. Al Foster said Dan Matha, also a good pick.
That's a good pick because his head is already vaguely shaped like an egg, so it works.
Oh, God. Next question.
I mean, I guess.
Well, you still have to get an answer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll just probably just fucking go to Matha as well. That's a scene. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of someone who's bald but also kind of smart, or at least has a smart character.
Dude,
could be smart.
Dude, Lars Sullivan.
No, because he's not like a physically imposing guy.
What?
He's no. Egghead isn't.
Oh, okay. But I mean, with CGI and stuff, couldn't we work around that?
I don't want to have to. I just want to pick the best casting initially. So, God damn it. Now I'm going to fucking take forever.
You could do Maven.
Fuck Maven.
I mean, he's bald.
I even brought that name up. Cesaro works. Thank you, Chief. And yes, Cesaro, that works.
I mean, but you know what? No, I want to move on, so I'm not going to fight that.
No, but see, Cesaro isn't like, don't get me wrong, Cesaro's ripped, but you can hide his muscles under stuff, whereas with Lars, he's so fucking thick that you could never.
Right.
Lars would be a better candidate to play Hank McCoy than Egghead.
Daniels was a great choice by hypothesis there.
Daniels is a great one, yeah, that's a really good one.
Daniels looks like such a big bag bitch.
I'm low-key kind of jealous that I didn't think of Christopher Daniels, but, anyway, let's get to our next set of questions. This one's from DBK. First up, who should be the ace of AEW?
Well, Ace is usually, I guess, known for babyface, so MJF is out. I guess they're kind of grooming an Ace and Hangman, but I don't know. It's difficult. Honestly, Cody will probably be the ace eventually.
No, it's who should be, not who will be.
I just don't like nobody on.
Who do you think is the best candidate to be their ace?
I would say Hangman, but it's not an enthusiastic choice on my part. I just think he's the best of the bunch right now until they, kind of pad out the roster further, which apparently we've only seen a percentage of the roster.
Yeah.
So I wonder who else they've got lying in wait. But yeah, I'm just gonna say Hangman for right now.
For now, I'm actually going to say Moxley. As soon as he comes back, it should be him. But long term, Sammy Guevara, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'd say that's an interesting choice.
Sammy G is charismatic as hell. He's flippy. He's athletic. He could show up on morning shows and be amazing. Like, he doesn't have to be a forever heel like MJF does. I think Sammy G can pull off like the lovable baby face that's just kind of like an Eddie Guerrero type baby face where like he still is kind of smug and shitty, but we love him for it. Like he's our smug shitty piece of shit.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So then we get to our second question from DBK. What is your favorite, least favorite, most underrated, and most overrated takeover event? He wants one for each.
Oh, jeez. Dude, how about you go first on this one? I'm kind of overwhelmed just hearing that question. So
okay, my favorite, was it Philadelphia? I forget which one it was, actually. NXT TakeOver. I'm going to just pull up NXT TakeOver, like the NXT TakeOver landing page. on Wikipedia. NXT Takeover chronology. Here we go. Okay, it was New Orleans. Takeover New Orleans is my personal favorite takeover of all time.
Okay.
Because that was the one where we crowned our first ever North American champion with Adam Cole winning the ladder match. We had Gargano Ciampa, the first Gargano Ciampa match before it got overplayed, and it was the unsanctioned match. We had Aleister Black versus Andrade. We had the big three-way tag match with Undisputed Era, Authors of Pain, and then Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong, with Roderick Strong turning on Pete Dunne to join Undisputed Era. Shayna Ember 2 was amazing. One of the best matches, arguably the best match in Shayna's title reign, I would say. And then, yeah, the North American title match. So that was my personal favorite takeover. What about you? Do you have a favorite takeover that you can think of?
You know what, man? I'm kind of inclined to say Brooklyn 4. I mean, that's where Kyrie won the women's championship.
That's fair.
Ciampa defeated Gargano with that amazing finish in the Last Man Standing.
The Last Man Standing, where Gargano fucked himself over, basically.
Ricochet and Cole had a great match with that double, or that super kick.
The super kick out of the moonsault, yep.
Yeah, Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain, they always put on great matches.
Yeah, they do.
I know that this was on the future episode of NXT, but they have it as part of the TakeOver card. Dunn versus Zach Gibson. So yeah, just a lot of good shit all around. So I'd say I'd go for this one for favorite. So nice. I guess just continuing along, your next takeover.
My least favorite takeover was probably London.
I was going to say London as well, so I'm just going to piggyback off of you on that.
Yeah, because going into London, we were very excited. We thought that Nia Jax was going to beat Bayley for the women's title, and the whole point of that was so that Bayley could get called up, because this was fresh after Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte had already been called up, and that would have set up then for Asuka to go after Nia and kind of have to overcome that obstacle, whereas instead they just had Asuka go after Bayley, and it kind of killed some of her momentum before she won the title. We thought that Joe was finally going to beat Balor, and it was going to be this big deal where Samoa Joe was going to finally win the title, and we thought Balor was going to get called up then. Corbin versus Cruz delivered. We wanted Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore to win the tag titles off of the Revival, even if only to hold them for a month or two. But we really wanted them to get those. And we had a really great Asuka-Emma match, but again, I think we were both rooting for Emma a little bit. We knew that Asuka was going to win, but we were both really high on Emma at the time, because this was when she was like this like super badass, like Queen of Strong Style type gimmick. So it was like easily to me the most underwhelming takeover. I would say the only other one that was even in the same range as that would be Takeover Respect, but the main event of that show was just so good it made up for it.
Right.
Because the main event of Takeover Respect was the Bayley Sasha Iron Man match.
Yeah, which was really good.
Yeah. But the rest of that card was kind of a fucking disaster. Like, it was Balor and Joe versus Corbin and Rhino in the Dusty Classic Finals. So literally just two thrown together teams. Like, at least Corbin and Rhino had a story because they were feuding and then they ended up in a team. Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. Asuka versus Dana Brooke. And of course then like the two Dusty Classic semis prior to that. But yeah, like, that was not a good takeover either. So if you, like, honestly, if you want to lay claim to London, I'll take Respect, honestly. Because, like, the main event was the only redeeming quality of that show, I think.
Yeah, we can do that, man.
All right. Up next, underrated. What would you say is the most underrated takeover ever?
Looking through these takeovers, damn.
I'm going to say the first Chicago, man.
First Chicago's good. Let me look at these matches here.
First NXT TakeOver Chicago happened 4 months after the UK tournament and had Tyler Bate dropping the UK title to Pete Dunne in an amazing match. We had a triple threat Asuka, Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami in the match that sparked Itami's heel turn. And the end was that incredible ladder match that led to Ciampa turning on Gargano.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's a great pick. Let's see. Where do I want to go with this? You know what? I think I'll say... let's see, hold on. I'm just looking at different match cards, just kind of jog my memory. I think I'm going to say TakeOver Rival. Because we had Banks winning the NXT Women's Championship to begin her amazing run with the title. Balor beat Neville to become the #1 contender for the NXT Championship, which was huge for him.
I remember you really loving that show when we watched it, too.
Itami beat Breeze when Itami was slowly starting to be built up before the tragic injuries would really cut him down.
Yeah.
Fucking Blake and Murphy would retain the NXT tag titles against the Lucha Dragons after winning them in that upset on NXT TV.
Yep.
And Kevin Owens defeated Sami Zayn for the NXT Championship 2 months to the day of his debut, which was amazing because it was a ref stoppage. So I'm going to go with Rival for that one.
Nice. I like that. Most overrated. It's unfortunate, but I feel like I just have to look at more recent ones for overrated because I feel like everyone keeps talking about, oh, this is the best takeover ever. Oh, this is the best takeover ever. And it's just like, really, yo? Like, you gotta go back and look at some of the older ones for real.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, right now, I'm probably... Wait, let me see.
TakeOver New York.
Dude, I'm looking at New York right now, and I'm kind of wobbling, like, do I want to go with this or not? So I'll tell you what, since you really said it first and committed, I'll let you have that. Let me look at
because, like... Dream Riddle was amazing, but that was also my match of the night. Walter Dunn, I think we agreed that it felt like Dunn put up way too much of a fight and that Walter should have steamrolled him a little more. Shayna winning the big four-way when we both kind of were hoping that Kyrie would win it and as just like a way to kind of seal her in as an NXT star and not a call-up. And then, of course, fucking Johnny kicking out of everything, just destroying Adam Cole's hopes and dreams and beating him for the NXT title when it should have been Adam, so that if Johnny was ever going to win the NXT title, he had to beat Ciampa for it. Yeah, I'm going with TakeOver New York for sure. That's definitely my answer. I mean, not to mention, like, the War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. Aleister Black and Ricochet were called up at that point. Nobody in their right minds thought that there was a chance that those guys were going to lose or were going to win the tag titles. And the unfortunate thing is, they could have, and it wouldn't have made a difference because the fucking War Raiders ended up relinquishing the titles 3 weeks later anyway.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of struggling because, like, I'm looking at Chicago too, but I've never really heard people, like, go crazy over that show.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think about what shows were really hyped. I really like the first War Games, so I don't want to throw that under the bus. Let's see here.
I would be willing to call War Games overrated, like the first one, because I felt like the War Games match itself was very clusterfucky. But that was also the show that Andrade beat McIntyre, and I fucking freaked out for that.
Yeah.
Oh, plus that had Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream. Okay, that wasn't overrated at all. That was really good.
Yeah, and then this War Games from 2018. Yeah, like, it had Dream versus Ciampa, which was my match of the year.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie versus Shane 203. God damn it. I really didn't want to get hung up on this question. God damn it. We're moving at such a good pace. Take over.
But this is the last one. This is the last one. We've done everything.
I know. It sucks when we get stuck.
Say take over Philadelphia.
Take over Philadelphia. Let's move.
Do you know why I said that, though?
Why?
Because it's a really good show.
It is, man. It is, because it had Andrade Gargano on it, which was one of Johnny's best matches.
That was almost everyone else's match of the year that year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you can decide, I don't know. I think we should just move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Philadelphia. Let's move on.
DBK, third question and final question. What do you think NXT UK and 205 Live need to do to make a lot of people watch the show?
Did he say NXT UK and 205 Live?
Yes.
See, I don't know if there's anything they can do, really, because I think ultimately a lot of it probably just comes down to viewership taste. Maybe scheduling structure would be better, but no, 205 Live is still piggybacking off of SmackDown, right? They come after SmackDown?
Yeah, they come right after SmackDown.
So that's kind of an abysmal time slot. And NXT UK, I really don't know what to say because I don't watch enough of the product to really even give an informed opinion. But, I mean, 205 Live has the talent. I just think, one, it's in a horrible time slot, for me personally. And two, like, there are just people that aren't going to be as into the cruiserweights. Like, there are a lot of cruiserweight performers that I like, but the cruiserweight division as a whole isn't something that I'm incredibly invested in. So that's just kind of my comments on that. And NXT UK, I don't know. I think it's going to take a while, if ever, for them to reach the same kind of hype levels that NXT has gotten. And NXT is like so far ahead. I mean, they're getting ready to be on the USA Network. I don't really know what NXT UK can do. So, Ashton, do you have any thoughts on this?
Not real. I mean, the thing is, with 205 Live, I almost wonder if they would be better off abolishing that show and just kind of letting the roster get absorbed into Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Like, I feel like guys like Cedric and Murphy and Ali have done so much more and have gotten so much more over with main roster exposure than they ever did or were on 205 Live by themselves. So, like, if your goal is to make 205 Live successful, obviously isn't an option. But if your goal is to make the performers on 205 Live as successful as possible, that's the best option.
Right.
NXT UK, though, is a completely different story. You can't abolish that because now you have a performance center in the UK. You know, NXT UK is like, it's literally a developmental brand now. Like, it's literally what NXT is, but it's for the UK branch of the developmental system. So you can't abolish that. So, like, for NXT UK, man, to me, I think they just need to be more selective with who they bring in. Like, stop giving so much TV time to people that literally nobody gives a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like, raise your hand if you give a shit about Ashton Smith. 0 hands are in the air right now. Raise your hand if you give a shit about fucking, I don't know, Joe Coffey. 0 hands in the air right now. Like, 75% of the NXT UK roster, I couldn't give fewer shits about. The other 25%, I like, and I would tune in for if I didn't have to sift through the other 75% in the first place.
That's probably the best part about Pete Dunne and Rhea Ripley doing more NXT stuff.
Yeah, is that we don't have to sift through all of the boring, lame bullshit on NXT UK to see them.
Exactly.
Because like Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Rhea Ripley, and that's the thing too. I love Tyler Bate, but do I want to watch a bunch of Mustache Mountain matches against guys that I don't really care about? No, because it's 80% fucking Trent Seven's old fat ass.
That's why I'm excited for Cardiff, admittedly, and I will go and at least watch the main event because it's Bate versus Walter, and I think that match is going to be insane. Like,
yeah, and
I'm genuinely hyped for that.
And honestly, I would even go as far as to say I think that they're over pushing Toni Storm in NXT UK right now. Like, I feel like she took the title off Rhea Ripley too soon. I thought Rhea Ripley should have had more of a monster run with it. I am not interested in Toni Storm. I feel like a lot of people kind of overrate her because, like, she's got some charisma, but she also just isn't an entertaining wrestler to me. She's like, even like when she's in Stardom, she kind of drags the matches down to her level. Like, she's almost like a Cody Rhodes in that way. Like, she kind of slows things down whenever she's in the ring with someone, and especially if she's in the ring with someone that's more of like a high-speed wrestler. It's always got to kind of come down to Tony's speed. So it's literally Tony time, you know?
Yeah. No, and see, that's the thing. My relationship with Toni Storm, you know, as a fan, I like her and I was happy for her when she won the title. I'm a bit disappointed, though, that her reign's still going. Because like you, I wanted Rhea Ripley to go on a dominant run. Hell, dude, to be perfectly honest, I had in my mind that Rhea would go on a Dunn-esque run. And then when Tegan Nox returned, she would knock Rhea Ripley off for the championship. So, you know, when that didn't work out, and I gotta wonder too, I mean, not to be an asshole or anything, but we know Toni Storm had that controversy with the leak, and then the title win came shortly after that. I gotta wonder if that didn't happen, would she have won the title? You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad saying it, but you have to wonder how circumstances influence each other. But even so, her still being the champion, I mean, she really is. Like, they wanted, I guess, to make her the face of the division. I'm happy for her as a professional. I'm just not really too into it. Like,
yeah, I think the problem there, though, to me, is that, like, when you put somebody who isn't like a workhorse in the ring as your champion, you need to put them against workhorses. Otherwise, their matches aren't going to be entertaining to watch. And, like, I have less than zero interest in watching Toni Storm versus Kaylee Ray. Like, I don't care about Kaylee Ray. I don't know anything about her. And even if I did, I've seen a couple matches of hers, and they've never really been interesting to me. So, I don't know, man. It's just you need to put your championships on people who consistently put on good matches. Like, that's why I think that, like, Walter is a great champion. Dunn was a great champion. Bates a great champion. Like, they've done well with their heavyweight title, but And the tag titles too, they've done a good job with. But I feel like they also have such a limited selection with their tag title. Like one of the teams in the tag team championship match right now is Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. And I couldn't possibly care less about Flash, and I barely care about Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. So yeah, NXT UK, obviously a hell of a lot is going on there. But I guess we can move on to our next question.
Alex Cage had 3 questions. First up, why should my wrestling... Oh, I think he meant what should my wrestling theme be? Bohemian Rhapsody or Hoist the Colors?
Well, this is difficult on a multitude of levels because I don't really know Alex Cage personally. Like, I'd be more confident, right, saying what Abel's theme music should be, for instance.
Right.
But I guess Bohemian Rhapsody, because I don't even know, like, Hoist the Colors. I don't even know how popular
I think,
that song
well,
is.
apparently Hoist the Colors is from a Pirates of the Caribbean song soundtrack, so assume that it's a piratey sounding song.
Okay, I would just go Bohemian Rhapsody, if for nothing else. Like, it's instantly identifiable, and if you want to get over like that, a theme like that never hurts.
Yeah,
So,
I was even
I'll
going to
go with
say,
that.
like, how about neither? How about if you, like, use a song that isn't super well known by everyone and be an original?
Yeah, there you go.
Second question, will there be any new signees to AEW by the time they get to TV? If yes, who would you like to see? I think definitely yes, because like John said earlier, AEW has come out and said that we've only seen a small percentage of their roster.
Yeah, I'm 100% yes on that question. As far as who I would like to see, you know, it's funny, Ashton suggested to me, he's like, you know, don't get your hopes up. I wouldn't want to get your hopes up, but what if Johnny shows up on Saturday for All Out? And, you know, if they would save Johnny for TV, you know, that would be interesting. Although I got to be honest, since Lucha Underground's out, because I did say originally that I wanted him to retire in Lucha Underground, but since that's no longer a viable option, truthfully, I'd like to see him give one more go at WWE, and they'd probably instantly regret it once they put him on 205 Live. But, you know, just kind of roll the dice. But if he goes to AEW, I mean, I'd support it. It'd be a huge emotional investment. As far as anybody else, does anybody have their contract up that we should know about?
What do you mean?
Well, like, we haven't heard any news of, like, big people having their contracts expire, right?
Well, even if we did, it would have had to be 3 months ago because of the non-compete.
That's true. Yeah, I'm really struggling to think of people because the people that I would want to see are either still in Impact, maybe serving a non-compete to my knowledge, or, you know, just some other circumstance. Plus, NXT is getting a lot of great people. I have to still remind myself that Cuerno's in NXT now. Like, it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he is.
So,
Aerostar maybe would be cool.
Aerostar would be cool, yeah. They already have Jack
I've
Evans
heard,
and
though,
Angelico.
that there might be some Joshi girls that we haven't seen yet in AEW in the Casino Battle Royale. So I'm wondering if they're going to bring in, like, you know, if they're going to bring in anyone into it. Let me actually look, because I can look at the 5-star schedule, and I can tell you who is not scheduled to be on the September 1st show.
Oh, Chiefin did say that Johnny was on Being the Elite this week. Is that why you even messaged me that in the first
Yes,
place?
it is. Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, so September 1st. Let's see. We've got Mayu, Avery. You know what? I'm going to pull up the list. Mayu, Avery, Momo, Tam. Mayu, Avery, Momo, Tam. Okay. Kagetsu, Andras, Arisa. Is that Konami? Konami, Utami, and Jamie. That's a shame Jamie's there. I would have loved to see her in AEW. Okay, so here's the list of people who are possibly going to show up in AEW's Battle Royal. Hana Kimura, who I would love. Hazuki, who I would love. Saki Kashima, unlikely. Natsu Sumire would be interesting. Azumi, no fucking way, she's too young. B. Priestley will probably actually be there. Jungle Kiona, unlikely, but not impossible. And then Natsuko Tora, highly unlikely. So, really, out of the likely ones, I mean, obviously B's probably going to be there. It's kind of a foregone conclusion that she'll be there. But Hana, Hazuki, Natsu, and Jungle are like the 4 like actual possibilities to me. So out of those 4, John, do you think any of them are going to be in the Battle Royal?
I could see Hana Kimura being in it because of her considerable U.S. appeal. So she's like the biggest one that I could see AEW snagging. and they would be smart to do so.
Yeah.
Because I
Natsu
love how
also kind of fits the theme of AEW though, with how goofy they sometimes get on their pre-shows.
Yeah. Yeah. She'd be a good Joshi contrast in comedy, like Nakazawa is with his comedy. So yeah, that would work. So I'm gonna say Natsu and Hana for sure.
I'm gonna say Hana and just kind of leave it at that. That's I'm not gonna press my luck. If we don't get Hana, I won't be surprised. But if anyone out of that group is gonna show up at AEW, she's my number one guess. So we'll see. That said, though, I think we can probably move on, right? Actually, did we want to mention any other potential AEW signees? Because
I did really like Brandon's suggestion in chat of Killer Cross. I'd love to see him get picked up by another major promotion.
Yeah, because I've heard his contract with the TNA is up, isn't it?
It should be, yeah.
I mean, hell, if his is, you got to wonder how long behind Scarlett Bordeaux is. She'd be great in AEW.
Yeah, she would be. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna say Killer Cross and double down on Natsu and Hana in the Battle Royal. So
yeah, that'd be cool. All right, third question and final question from Alex Cage. Should Shane Thorne go to NXT UK? Hell no!
No, I like what he's doing on NXT, and I actually like him as a performer. I don't know how far he'll go, but I really like what he's doing right now. So keep him on NXT, and let's see how much mileage we can get out of him. And then if it seems like he's sputtering, then send him to NXT UK, kind of revitalize him a little bit. But for right now, no, he's fine where he is.
Don't give up on him until you need to.
Exactly.
All right, Super Blue asked me a question. He asked us 5 questions total. The first one is only for me. He wants to know what my preview and predictions for the 2019 NFL season will be and who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. My God. Okay, so I'm going to say that the Cleveland Browns are going to get into the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl necessarily. I don't think they're going to get there all the way. I think they're going to get to the playoffs, though, 10-6, 11-5, somewhere in that range. I think they're going to do pretty well. As far as who's actually going to win the Super Bowl, low-key, I think it's going to come from the NFC East. Like, either the Eagles or the Cowboys, I think, are going to get to the Super Bowl and then either somehow manage to triumph over or probably just fucking lose again to the Patriots. I would love to see the Chiefs make it all the way. But again, their defense somehow seems to have managed to get worse between last year and this year, so I really doubt they're going to make it all the way. And God, I'm trying to think if there are any other real contenders. Like, I know people are going to be like, "Oh, the Chargers," but their coaching staff is just fucking trash. So no. Oh God, maybe the Packers if they get their shit together on defense because they have a lot of talent. They just are not well coached. That's about it, though. I think those are like the really. No, not even the Texans because their schedule's really tough. They probably won't even make the playoffs. Maybe the Vikings. That's a stretch, though. I think that's about the extent of it. I mean, that's gonna be my. It's gonna. So I gave you 2 teams from the NFC, and I guess you can probably toss the Rams in there too. Although I kind of low key hope that the rest of the league starts kind of catching on to their bullshit and stopping the predictable shit that they do, like the Patriots did in the Super Bowl, and stop them from getting to another one. But you never know; it might not happen. But yeah, they're a contender. But to me, the 2 NFC teams that I think are the most likely to make it to the Super Bowl are the Eagles and Cowboys. All right, next up though, we've got another question from Super Blue. We did get 5 from Super Blue, John. The second one here: what are your preview predictions for NXT UK Takeover Cardiff?
Okay, let's pull up the card and let's go through it.
Yeah, let's just start at the bottom. Travis Banks versus Noam Dar.
I'm going to go Travis Banks.
Being a Travis Banks fan is pain, so I'm picking Dar to win. Dave Mastiff versus Joe Coffey. I'm guessing Coffey.
I'm going to go Coffey as well, yeah.
Zach Gibson and James Drake defending the NXT UK tag titles against Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, and Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang.
I'm going to go Drake and Gibson to retain.
Yeah, same. Tony Storm versus Kaylee Ray for the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Tony Storm to retain.
Walter versus Tyler Bate for the NXT UK Championship.
I'm unfortunately going to say Walter to retain. I like Walter, but I love Tyler.
We agree on everything except for Banks versus Dar because I'm protecting my feelings.
That's so healthy.
All right. Next up, if Cody and friends went back to WWE, what are the odds that the Khans save Lucha Underground instead of trying to back more AEW?
Not likely at all.
No.
I feel like if they wanted to save Lucha Underground, they would have done it long before AEW was even announced.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Because here's my thing, and I feel like I'm being reasonable here when I say this. If you're a bit like, if you've got the capital, and again, Tony Khan is a billionaire with a B, so suck on that, Vince, I guess. And you want to get in the wrestling business, you survey the landscape. So I'm 90% sure that Tony Khan knows that Lucha Underground was a thing. If you didn't want to revitalize it and get with the people and be like, hey, I thought what you did was cutting edge stuff, I'd like to put my money behind it. You know, if it hasn't happened now, it's never going to happen. So I'd say there's no chance of that happening.
All right. Next question from Super Blue. What is your preview and predictions for the Never Openweight Championship match at Royal Quest? Kenta's winning, baby.
I hope so. I think Kenta would be an amazing Never Openweight champion. It'd be cool to have that title back in the Bullet Club. I love Ishii, but you already know how I feel about him being Never Openweight champion. He's done everything he could possibly do with that title, and he continues to do things with it because he's an amazing pupper who deserves all the love in the world. But I want an Ishii Intercontinental title reign, damn it. So, yeah, Kenta for the win.
All right, fifth and final question from Super Blue. How do you feel about Spider-Man getting removed from the MCU because of Disney's and Sony's stupidity?
You know, it's unfortunate because I really like Tom Holland, but Tom Holland really recently had a statement where he said he's just going to continue to play Spider-Man no matter what. He's having the time of his life with the role. Yeah. And I admire that positivity and that enthusiasm. I hope Tom Holland can keep doing what he does. I think Spider-Man Far From Home, that was the latest one, was really good, especially those last like 10, 20 minutes where I really feel like he became Spider-Man. With
the Spidey senses, okay. Yes.
Yeah, and everything
the Peter
else.
Tingle.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like he's really good. He's really, really good. And yeah, I'm just glad he'll keep doing what he does. As far as Sony and Disney and all that stuff, I mean, God, it's...
Have you heard exactly, like, what exactly, like, the details of this shit were?
I heard early details, but then apparently there was, like a snag in it or, like, another wrinkle in it. That's what I'm looking for, another wrinkle in it. So what exactly is the latest thing? Break it down.
So, I don't know. You tell me if what I'm telling you is what you heard about before whatever this new snag was, and maybe I just don't know about it. But here's what I heard. I heard that Disney had the rights to basically profit from all of the toys. But they're literally in the process of making a Spider-Man ride in Disney World that they would get all the profits from, all that shit, and 5% of the movie revenue.
Right.
They wanted to keep all that shit and make also 50% of the movie revenue instead of just 5%. And Sony basically said, "You can fuck off. We're gonna keep Spider-Man. It's literally our highest grossing, you know, anything at all. It's our highest grossing intellectual property, period. And even if our movies aren't as good as when you make them, we're still gonna make a hell of a lot more money with worse movies than we would make with half of better movies."
Right. I feel like, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been hearing as well.
Yeah, because Disney basically wanted everything outside of movies and half of the movie revenue as well. And Sony basically said, no, you can fuck off. Like, they're, at this point, Disney's better off just trying to buy back the Spider-Man IP. And even then, I feel like the price would probably be like, fucking 11 figures. Like, tens of billions, if I had to guess, because of Disney themselves, because they turned Spider-Man into a $1 billion franchise. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm also curious as far as like what Disney's gonna do about this ride that they've got under construction now, because they kind of just lost the rights to it. So what you gonna do now, Disney?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. It's nice to see the Juggernaut take a hit because Disney's just got
Sony is like the only corporation that can stand up to this damn mouse.
Dude, it's obscene. Like, I've already told you, my therapist is okay with it because she's a stockholder. God, the leftist in me wants to jump out so bad. Yeah. But Disney's gotten so big, dude. Like, that mouse is gorging on everything. And Disney Plus, man, like,
They're getting my 7 or 8 bucks a month.
I mean, brother, it just reminds me of like this scene from GoldenEye, because I was a big 007 fan. I grew up on the Brosnan Bond when I was a kid, and it's the train scene, and they're about to do like the big bank robbery with the GoldenEye satellite. And at one point, the villain says, "Oh, if you just stick with the plan, soon we'll have more money than God." And then, first of all, you're like, God has money. But more importantly, I feel like Disney's entering that territory where it's like, we have more money than God. Because they're just stuffing their pockets from so many facets.
How has Disney not purchased the rights to the 007 IP at this point yet?
I know. Well, dude, it's coming. It's coming. And apparently, too, my friend... I've told you about my friend Rick before, aspiring actor,
yeah.
RV1, all that stuff. He said, I don't know where he heard this. I wish I would have asked him for a link, but apparently representatives from Disney said that, they won't be making, like, R-rated movies, like, owning Marvel. So, like, that obviously has a lot of people concerned because of the Deadpool property and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, who can stop them anyway? If that is true, they've got so much money, they can do whatever the hell they want. And, of course, the other concern of them buying up all the movie screens, so, like, independent filmmakers will be forced out so that you can have, like, 1 million screens playing Avengers, right, and maybe only 1 or 2 screens playing, another film. It's just, it's scary times. And to think that Sony, of all people, or all companies, really, are the only ones able to stand up to Disney, what a fucking timeline this is.
That damn mouse, man. That damn mouse.
Oh, world domination! Alright, now I guess we can move on.
Oh, boy!
Who's next, brother?
Javaris is up next, and his first question is for me. And he asked me, why doesn't the NCAA just admit that they don't want to pay the players because they're a bunch of old, greedy fucks? Well, I'll tell you why, Javaris. Because they're a bunch of old greedy fucks, and they are not willing to ever sacrifice money, and admitting that they were old greedy fucks would cost them money.
Nice.
It's strictly a business plan. That's all it is. It's a business decision. They don't admit to it because admitting to it would be less money in their pockets, and that's all they give a shit about.
I mean, you're right.
I know, I'm saying.
Next question.
Second question from Javaris is for both of us. Name 5 NXT stars that will get the most focus when NXT heads to USA.
I would say Adam Cole.
Yes.
Velveteen Dream.
Yes. Unequivocally.
So Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream. If Johnny's still there, I have to say Johnny, even though I hate it.
Yeah, probably.
Shayna as the women's champion, even if she drops the title, because she's got that legit MMA background.
That's true.
And hopefully Matt Riddle.
Yes.
Is that an agreeable top 5?
Yeah, that's perfect to me. Yeah, I wish Johnny wasn't a part of that, but he's going to be. He just go to 205 Live and rot away there.
Yeah. I want to like Johnny too, man, but this is the problem with
Dude, his entire gimmick is guy who kicks out of everything. It's not compelling, WWE. Stop it.
I know. All right, next question.
Third and final question from Javaris. What will it take for you guys to do a rewatch of DBZ Abridged and live react to the upcoming season?
I mean, the time, which nobody has any control over, for one. I mean, I love the show. It's just so off-brand for us. We are just so strictly a wrestling channel, save for these, because I mean, Q&A always has potential to lead into like anime and culture and politics and this and that. So yeah, I don't think it ever would happen, just because we have a certain definite tone for the channel, and it's been working just fine for us. There's no need to really rupture that. Plus, you start getting into that territory, and I don't know what we would be inviting in terms of copyright and this and that, because, I mean, yeah, Team Forster, they're already kind of wading in those waters. But do we really want to enter the fray? I'm not so sure. So, yeah, I would say it would take a hell of a lot, which is probably why it's never going to happen. I don't know. Have I spoken out of turn here to our audience?
No, honestly, dude, the funny thing is, when I first saw this question, I was like, maybe we can accept a Patreon request for this. But you saying all that is like, oh, shit, he's right. We can never do this.
Yeah. Well, I killed the dream, everyone. Free booze for me. Next question.
Next set of questions is from Brandon Best. First up, we've got one for you, John. What is your opinion on comic books slash TV shows slash movies that take the superhero genre and deconstruct it, like Brightburn and The Boys, etc.?
Brandon, I think it is so needed. I do, and I say that because the superhero genre is so dominant. Like, I feel like, and I'm not trying to hyperbolize, but I feel like in this particular moment in cinema, that the superhero genre has kind of become the FPS of movies. You know, because everybody always says, like, oh, the video game market is so oversaturated with first-person shooters. At least they did a few years ago. I don't know if that's still the case now. I feel like that's kind of the moment for the superhero genre.
Now it's like now it's like open world type shit. That's
yeah.
Gotcha.
So
and like battle royale type games too.
yeah. So I will say maybe that's not the case anymore for video games, but the general point still stands. Like, we're in a moment in cinema where I feel like it is so saturated with the superhero genre. And if we're going to be living in this moment, which I'm not complaining, it's been more or less great.
Why not deconstruct it, right?
Yeah, why not deconstruct it? Why not challenge it? Why not do, new things with it? And that's why I really welcome Brightburn, which we'll be watching in October, because we got this huge,
hell yeah, we will be. Man.
We are never going to have to wonder what we're going to be doing on nights in October, because it's already pretty much made for us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, I welcome it. I really welcome it. I think it's a wonderful thing. And the philosopher in me loves that kind of shit, because I love looking at things. There have been cultural critics that say that superhero comics, support fascism because it's this all-powerful being, right, protecting the earth and stuff like that, or protecting this country, or protecting whatever. So any critique, any
you know what, I actually can totally understand where that's coming from. I scoffed at it at first. You probably even heard me, but
I did.
Actually entirely accurate. Yeah.
Yes, see, face. So yeah, any vantage point that you can look at things from, I mean, I welcome. So yeah, just a long-winded way to say I dig it.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it. Next question.
Second question's also just for you, John. If at some point in some other dimension or something, Johnny Mundo faces Kenta, who would you have winning?
Ooh, I gotta go with my boy Johnny. I've been thinking about him a lot lately, with him getting these stem cell therapies and really wanting to get ahead of his health problems, which just shows again that he's
everyone is getting stem cell treatment. Brian Cage just got stem cell treatment. Johnny Mundo, even fucking Ryback got stem cell treatment recently.
Dude, Ray went back for another round. Kevin Nash is doing it.
Yep.
Vampiro wants to do it, which reminds me,
it's all the rage.
I want to look at Vampiro's GoFundMe. But yeah, just to answer the question, yeah, I'd have to go with my boy Johnny. I've been thinking about him a lot lately with his contract expiring, and I want him to become my number one favorite guy. I want him to go somewhere where I know that I'm actually invested in the overall product and his place in it, because that was the big problem with his Impact run, despite being the best person there. And yeah, I just want to support him, and that's why I'm kind of rooting for one final WWE run, because I'd love for him to beat the shit out of Kofi and take the WWE Championship. So there you go. But yeah, I'm gonna go.
All right. Third question and final question from Brandon. So far, has this been the best G1?
I would say so.
Yeah,
it was
the best one that we've experienced, at least, for sure.
I mean, Brandon, that G1 flew by so fast for me. I think just because of the sheer enjoyment of it, and so many people that were novel in it. Between Ospreay and Kenta and all of them. It was an amazing G1. So, yeah, I would say so. I absolutely would say so.
All right. Next set of questions are from Mark Schoeneman. First up, who has been your favorites so far in Stardom?
Really have a soft spot for Mayu, mainly because she tugs at my heartstrings. And I kind of want to protect her at all costs.
In a very Kyrie-esque way, I feel like.
Indeed. Oh, Mayu. Natsu is amazing. I actually feel like she's kind of underappreciated, both for how great she is at comedy, but also how she's able to just be so sincere and heartfelt, like her promo after she won the Artist of Stardom Championship, and just her match with Hana Kimura recently, who, speaking of Hana, amazing. Definitely becoming a fan of her. Yeah. I love her confidence. I love her arrogance. Me and Ashton were we weren't talking exactly about this, like, as the central topic. It was more peripheral for what we were actually talking about, because there's been backlash against Stardom for some shoddy translations lately, and now they've rehired the guy that used to do them when they were of quality, so he should be back to work in like a week or so. And we were just talking about how Japan seems to be very ethnocentric, like Ashton pointed that out for me, where it's like, you know, Japan for Japanese people, all that stuff. And what makes Hana a heel is like her mantra for Tokyo Cyber Squad: everyone is different, everyone is special. And I'm sorry, I just find that fascinating. Like, it actually, when we got done having that conversation, my gears were really turning about how, like, cultural norms and social attitudes they kind of have a theater in the form of wrestling to kind of play out. Like, so for example, with US, right, the most easy ready-made heel is the xenophobic heel. Like, oh, America sucks, and we're so visceral to that even now. But the idea that Hana, her heeldom kind of rests on an idea of inclusivity,
of acceptance. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I find that so fascinating.
I mean, her heeldom really rests on her just being kind of a bitch in matches and brutal and like these kicks and shit that she does. But yeah, like she's not gonna get in favor with any of the Japanese fans by saying stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah, and I will say, just as one more pick before I hand it over to you, Arisa is definitely, like, I know I've already mentioned, like, that I really like Konami, and that's true, but Arisa might overtake her because her kicks are innovative as hell in some instances. Like, she does some really cool stuff. I would almost say some Johnny Mundo inspired stuff, truthfully. And yeah, she's really cool. Great Wonder of Stardom champion. People are already calling her the 5-star match machine of Stardom. I can see why people would sign on to that notion, for sure. And yeah, I just want to keep seeing more of her. So what about you, Ashton? You're far more like plugged into Stardom right now than me, because you've really done the deep dives and all that. So what are you thinking?
You forgot Hazuki.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh my God, Hazuki-chan. How could I forget her? She's fucking precious and deserves everything and is so talented. Oh my God, if Aaron was here, he wouldn't forgive me. I am so sorry, Aaron. I have failed the fandom. I'm still adjusting. I'm still trying to keep names straight. And you know what? I guess I just took Hazuki for granted because I'm also trying to open my heart to other performers. But yeah, Hazuki's fucking awesome. And she beat Momo Watanabe. Fuck you, Momo. Yeah! God, I really, dude, I want to see her fail at everything and then cry about it. I hope she gets kicked out of Queen's Quest. That'd be fucking hilarious. Anyway, wow, that just kind of jumped out. I'm going to hand it back to you now. Now you can go and talk about some of your favorites.
I just imagine it being like in one of those movies, you can't kick me out of this band. This is my band.
You can't do this to me. I'm Momo Watanabe.
Oh, God.
That's why it's happening. Check your face. God damn it.
Okay. I definitely have become a fan of Arisa. She's great. I love her adorable smile, and her actual like wrestling is incredible. She's like probably one of the top 2 or 3 in ring in the company right now. And I mean, being top 2 or 3 in the ring in Stardom means you're one of the top 2 or 3 in ring females on the planet right now to me. I would say, you know, a lot of the people that you mentioned, but also Tam Nakano, I love. I think she's great. I think she is just absolutely adorable, and her kicks are pretty fucking legit too. Like, not necessarily as devastating looking as Arisa's, but definitely still really effective. And I think, other than the ones that you mentioned, the 2 girls that I really want to highlight are the high speed girls, Azumi and Starlight Kid. I think they're both great.
Yeah. Dude, let me just say, too, Starlight Kid, that's another one I'm really growing to love. And Azumi, man, it has been a delight watching her on this 5-star Grand Prix. So, yeah, Stardom, I'm telling you guys, from the performer side and from the actual in-ring side, I'm really falling in love with it. And these are some insanely talented women. So I can't wait to see more.
And yeah, like, I think it'll be a little bit more set in stone on Sunday when we do our 5v5s, but I'm pretty confident Hana Kimura is my number 1 in Stardom right now.
Dude, she's so good.
Yeah. Then let's get to our next question from Mark. Thoughts on a potential War Games match among the women at NXT TakeOver War Games 3, and he actually gave us teams here, representing, I guess, Team Babyface, Bianca Belair, Mia Yim, Dakota Kai, and Candice LeRae. And then representing Team Heel, Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir, and Io Shirai.
I actually really like that. I really like that, especially on the heel side, because even though Io is now heel, because I feel like NXT would do this, but there's no guarantee. I never like when somebody like turns face or turns heel, the people that they had a beef with, that they now share the same alignment. It's like all is forgiven because, hey, you're evil now, or hey, you're good now. I feel like WWE hasn't done this trend in a while, because like take Rollins when he turned face, how long it took for Roman and Dean when he was still in the company to accept him. So I don't feel like this has been a dominant narrative point for a while, which is why I'd be excited about Io and Shayna on the same team when Io like really beat the shit out of Shayna and Shayna screwed Io out of the women's title, or at the very least got very fluky victories over her. So I really like the heel side. And who's the babyface side again? I heard Mia, Bianca, Candice, and who else?
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai. Yeah, I really like that too. It'd be an amazing way for Dakota to make a splash and kind of get the prestige of her name up. Bianca being in a big match like that, I mean, I love her. I think the world of Bianca. So I think that'd be really cool for her. Candice, I mean, hell, she even said she was grateful for the match with Io because she got to be Candice LeRae. I would like to still see Candice be Candice LeRae. I've got no problem with Candice. I just feel like she's in a spot that was meant for Kyrie, which isn't her fault. That's just how the cards fell because somebody, Vince, had to fuck it up for the rest of us. So yeah, I like it all around, man. I really, really do. I think it's good shit.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool if Dakota would pin Shayna as like the final winning pinfall to set up a one-on-one title match between them at the following takeover.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Third question from Mark. 10 best matches from the G1, and he said you can do 5 each if you want to split it up.
Okay, yeah, please.
Do you want me to go first?
Dude, I'm just going to give one. We'll go back and forth, but one that immediately comes to mind, I have to say Juice versus Ishii. That match was so fucking good, dude.
Yep, I'm going to say Sonata Okada.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to say Moxley versus Cobb was really good.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. That was great. Moxley versus Ishii.
Moxley versus Ishii, great choice.
We got to be air popper!
Yes. God, yeah, Moxley had a really great run in the G1. Kenta versus Ibushi.
Yes. Shingo versus Goto.
Yes. I'd say Shingo versus Naito as well. I thought that was really good.
That was really good.
I'll also say, damn. No, you know what? Juice versus Moxley because of the sleeper spot, grabbing the pant leg.
That was so good. Ospreay versus Ibushi.
Yes. Okay, what are we up to, dude? Do you know?
We only have 1 each for each of us.
Okay, awesome. This is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Let me think. I want to give it to another Ishii match, but I'm trying to think because the one he had with Naito this year, I don't remember it being as like engaging as the one where he ate a Destino. That was just iconic.
Yeah.
Damn. Also thinking about A Block or is it A Block or B Block? I'm also thinking about A Block. You know what? I really enjoyed Kenta Okada. So I'm going to give it for that. Plus, that was my most anticipated one. I think it delivered for me personally. So, yeah, I'll go Kenta Okada.
Yeah.
And you're running it out with?
I'm running out with Ospreay Tanahashi.
Nice, dude. That was such a big moment for Will.
Yeah. All right. Fourth question from Mark. Thoughts on this fantasy booking? And he actually did post it in the Q&A questions channel in the Discord, so let me pull it up. Sasha beats Becky, then retains in the cell. Have her face Bayley at Survivor Series, but still lose. Sasha has never beaten Bayley, so that leads her down an even larger downward spiral, and she loses the title back to Becky at Rumble. Sasha then either wins the Rumble or a chamber match to become #1 contender for Bayley's title at Mania, and then she finally beats Bayley for the first time ever, wins a WrestleMania match for, I believe, the first time ever, and becomes a Grand Slam champion in the same night.
I'd say it's pretty fucking sweet. I'm down.
And
with
he did add, my apologies to John, because this would mean Becky is facing Ronda, and this Kyrie Mania is probably sunk if this happens.
Yeah, brother Mark, if anything, you're only making us rest in peace, because WWE right now seems to have no intention of making Kyrie Mania a thing, which breaks my fucking heart. So putting aside that dream, which it really fucking hurts to do, and looking at it for what it is, I'd say that's great fantasy booking. So yeah, I approve.
Yes. All right, fifth and final question from Mark. I got nothing else, so what are your thoughts on thoughts? Well, I'll tell you what my thoughts on thoughts are, Mike. Mark, I almost called you Mike. I think that John knows way more about thoughts than I do because he's a fucking philosopher, and that's what they do.
Yeah, god damn it, though. I was literally about to be like, thank God you handled one of these first, because I never handle these types of questions well, and then what do? You pass the buck to me.
You're damn right I do. You're a professional thinker. Tell us what your thoughts on thoughts are.
I think thinking about thinking is important because it ultimately, even if it takes us a few generations to fucking get there, makes us better people. And I wish we would think about thinking a bit more than we do, obviously. And that's all I can say about it because this is a Q&A forum and not a proper conference, and I ain't getting paid, so that's your answer. Next set of questions.
Oh, man, you professional types, always after the money.
Hell yeah, my time's valuable, motherfucker. I don't know where you think we are.
I think we only got one question from the chief in this time around. Let me look real quick to make sure. In Q&A questions. Yeah, only one question from the chief in, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Who do you think would be the 5 people most likely to be in the MYC 3 this year?
We were speaking about Stardom earlier with AEW. We know that NXT's been in contact with Stardom.
Yeah.
I would love to see a Hana or an Arisa or even a Mayu, hell, being in the
Yeah,
MYC
I think
3.
if it's not gonna be Hana, it's definitely gonna be Mayu. Because like I love Arisa, but she doesn't really like have the same kind of like global appeal, I don't think, that Mayu and Hana have.
Right.
Because her character is basically just like happy to be here. Whereas like Mayu has a very clearly defined character. She's like this ditzy, like, forgetful girl kind of thing. And Hana, my God, like she's absolutely built for WWE. Like she's got the charisma, she's got the look, she's got, she speaks better English than a lot of the girls in Stardom. Like she's completely ready for a WWE run. But I just hope she doesn't go there.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
But I mean, yeah, like the thing is, it's probably safe to assume that at least 1 or 2 people from Stardom will be in the MYC3. Why? Because Stardom has been able to use like Piper Niven and Toni Storm while they've been under WWE contract. WWE's not going to let them do that without something in return. Yeah,
it's a shame that most of the women that I would want to see are either taken by Impact or AEW, because 2 other names that would come to my mind immediately are people like Ivelisse and Jordan Grace. I'd love to see them in the tournament as well, but again, they're with other people.
Honestly, just say like a lot of the girls that we know are signed that haven't really done anything. Like, Chelsea.
Put Deonna Purrazzo in there again, who apparently Deonna Purrazzo's been working in NXT UK, but again, I refer you back to our answer on that. Like,
plus, like we've seen plenty of times before where someone will work a few NXT UK tapings and then be back in regular NXT and be fine.
Yeah, well, I want her to be back in regular NXT and be fine.
Yeah, like, so I would say Deonna, Chelsea Green is another big one. They're gonna. Jessie Elaban is definitely going to be in it, I would bet.
Right.
Tainara has been in the first 2, so she'll probably be in the 3rd one, as much as I still don't think she's really gotten any better. And if we're going for another unfortunate name that's almost definitely going to be in it, Reina Gonzalez.
Boo!
Yeah. Fucking injuring Karen Q. But he asked who the 5 most likely people to be in it are. I think I just named the 5 that are most likely to be in it.
I think you did as well, friends. I'm not even going to touch that. I think you answered it perfectly.
All right, next up we got 5 questions from Iconic. First up, would you rather live in a steampunk world or a cyberpunk world?
I've always found the aesthetic of steampunk to have this like quaint charm, so I'm going to say steampunk.
Yeah, well, I am not a big fan of like smoke and smog, so cyberpunk, because I also prefer like modern conveniences. So yeah.
I love that your tone with that was like, Oh, let's see. I don't like polluting the air and/or my lungs, so this is why cyberpunk's the correct option.
Well, when I think of steampunk, I think of like people driving around in like these fucking bronze or brass cars with this black ass smoke coming out the tailpipe, and you just look around and there's just black smoke everywhere because everything is run off of steam. Which, like, I don't know. Like when I think of steam, obviously steam isn't black smoke, but in order to create steam, you have to create heat. In order to create heat, you have to create energy out of something, and you're not creating out of nothing. So I guess unless you're running like 100% clean energy steampunk, which why would you even do that? That makes no sense.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
So I'm rolling with cyberpunk. Yeah.
All right.
Second question from Iconic: what exotic animal would you own?
Ooh, what counts as an exotic animal?
I mean, I just want to say pretty much anything that isn't a farm animal or a traditional pet.
Then, I mean, I guess wolf, right? That counts?
Yeah, that counts, totally, yeah.
Hell yeah, I would own an actual wolf, and then I would sick it on rich people and Momo Watanabe. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you? What exotic? Oh, wait. No, I'm not gonna guess. I had an idea, but I want you to just answer it. So
no, dude, I would never own a fucking bird ever in my life.
Okay, so yeah, cassowary was out, but that's immediately what I thought of.
I mean, that's like it's basically like my favorite current animal living, but at the same time, it's not something I would want as a pet. You know, like there are domesticated wolves that you could do that would work, but like I think I would almost have to go with like maybe like a caracal. You know what I mean? Like they're like savanna cats that have like long brushes of hair on the tips of their ears. They're really cool looking.
Yeah.
So I would say a caracal. Third question from Iconic: you invite Suzuki and Kenta to do stand-up comedy at the local club. How long before SWAT is called in?
Well, I think the moment people don't laugh at the jokes is when you call in SWAT. I think every laugh I would have would be a nervous laugh because it's like, okay, if I just keep it going, if I just force the laughs out with maybe peppering it in with a squee here and a squee there, they'll let me live.
You can channel your inner Joker.
Exactly.
Oh
God,
my
I'd be
God.
terrified.
And it's so funny too that we just watched that Joker trailer because he even said, whenever I used to tell anyone that I wanted to be a comedian, they would laugh at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
And then that one nighttime talk show was in the trailer. You can say that again, buddy. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that was the wrong take. Gonna kill us all.
All right. Fourth question from Iconic. Ring of Honor finally hits financial rock bottom and closes doors. Who on the roster goes where?
You take this one first.
I'm going to pull up the Ring of Honor roster, actually. All right. Let's see. Bandito to New Japan easily. Or maybe even AEW, honestly. He could work in AEW, too. All right, here we go. I'm gonna name someone, John, and I just want you to say where you think they would go. All right?
Sure.
Just rapid fire. Let's just get through this. Alex Shelley.
AEW.
Bandito.
Ooh, NXT.
Beer City Bruiser.
Unemployment line.
Brian Malonis.
Don't know who that is.
Same thing. Unemployment line. Brody King.
NXT.
I would say New Japan for him so he can hang out with Marty. Bully Ray.
Oh, God. I guess WWE, but like as a backstage hand.
Yeah, like an agent. Caprice Coleman.
Forget who that is. Like, it's faintly familiar, but I'm not gonna
I would say probably just like random indies. I don't think any of the major companies would pick him up. Cheeseburger. AEW easily.
Yeah, AEW or 205 Live as a comedy act.
Yeah. Colt Cabana.
AEW.
Dalton Castle.
NXT.
David Finlay.
AEW.
No, come on. He just go back to New Japan. Let's be real. He's
fine. New Japan. I didn't even know that ROH got David Finlay. I kind of forgot about that. So yeah.
Delirious.
Don't know.
Literally anywhere that he can be a performer and not be a booker, please.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that works.
I don't know who this next guy is, so I'm skipping him. Flip Gordon.
I'd say, what's his weight? Because I'd say maybe 205 would just be better with him.
He's definitely under 205. Yeah.
Yeah, 205 live.
Wow. I would say New Japan Junior Division, new ace. The Briscoes.
Definitely NXT.
I say definitely AEW. Jay Lethal.
AEW.
And I'd say NXT for him. Jeff Cobb.
AEW.
Same. Actually, I would hope NJPW, New Japan, honestly. Joe Hendry.
Don't know who that is.
He's a British guy who sings wrestlers to the ring with like joke songs.
Well, then put him on 205 live commentary with Aiden English. They can sing together.
Is he small enough? No, he's 230.
Well, for commentary though, right? I guess they want weight limit for everything. Yeah, I don't know. Skip it.
I would send him to AEW as like another part of like their comedy thing. Jonathan Gresham.
205 live.
New Japan. Josh Woods. Neither one of us knows who that is. Kenny King.
New Japan.
I would say WWE to hang out with AJ Styles. LSG. No clue who that is. We already got the Briscoes. Mark Haskins.
Oh, definitely NXT UK. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd actually start watching it if he was on it.
Marty Scurll, New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan.
Matt Taven.
Unemployment line.
NXT for a couple years, then unemployment line.
There you go.
PCO.
Fuck. You know what? AEW.
Yeah, probably. God damn it. PJ Black.
AEW, because WWE didn't know how to use them the first time.
I would hope he would try New Japan or maybe even like a Noah or All Japan or something like that. But yeah, AEW seems like a pretty likely option too. Rhett Titus.
I actually like Titus, or of the Rhett variety. I'm gonna say AEW for him too. I think he's got a great look. Now that's a guy, unless he's changed significantly from what I remember, which is very likely since this was years ago. That's a guy though that I could see being an AEW World Champion.
I'm assuming. I mean, Rocky Romero is still already in New Japan, so he's fine. Roosh would probably just go back to CMLL. Shane Taylor, unemployment line. Silas Young.
Oh, honestly, Silas Young, I would want to give a try in NXT, but here's the thing. Just to qualify, he would be in the Cassius Ohno role right before Cassius Ohno kind of left. That legitimizer, that guy. That
like the James Storm role, basically.
Exactly.
TK O'Ryan.
No idea who that is, Skip.
Okay, TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marcellia are the other two members of the Kingdom now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if you don't know who they are, just never mind.
Never mind.
Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Don't know. Skip.
Okay. Will Ferrara.
Don't know. Skip.
ZSJ's in New Japan. Never mind. All right, back to the women. Angelina Love. We might as well just group them all together. So Angelina Love, Velvet, Sky, and Mandy Leon.
I'll just say AEW.
God, I would hope not. They could probably just go back to TNA, honestly. Amy Rose, don't know who that is. Gabby Ortiz, don't know who that is. Jenny Rose, don't know who that is. Kelly Klein.
TNA.
Yeah. Mayu is already in Stardom, so we don't have to worry about that. Sumi Sakai, I guess like fucking TJPW or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Bobby Cruz. I mean, I don't know. I don't think AEW really needs a new ring announcer, but I do like Bobby Cruz.
Yeah. I think
maybe NXT. Maybe he goes to NXT. That could work.
NXT could work. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Quinn McKay definitely to NXT, probably as an interviewer. But that's all we're gonna do. We kind of covered everything. Oh, Todd Sinclair to AEW for sure. All right. So next up, New Japan versus WWE Fantasy Card. He wants us to give his honest thoughts, give our honest thoughts, rate each match, and pick winners. Let me pick it up over here on Discord. Juice Robinson and Bailey versus Jay White and Ruby Riott in an intergender tag team match.
I'm gonna give it to Juice's team.
Okay. What do you think of it though? Like interesting, exciting? What?
I'd say it's interesting. Yeah, I'd go for that.
El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori versus Ricochet and Cedric Alexander for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles.
That sounds like an insane matchup. I would go with Ricochet and Cedric for that.
I'd go with Phantasmo and Ishimori for sure. LIJ represented by Naito, Sonata, and Evil versus Roman and the Usos.
Not bad. Roman and the Usos are definitely going over, though.
Guerrillas of Destiny versus New Day. Tag champs versus tag champs.
Great stuff. I'd go with New Day.
Ospreay versus Andrade versus Shingo versus Ali in a 4-way IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match.
That is one magnificent clusterfuck. I'm inclined to go with Ospreay, though, as much as I love Andrade.
Honestly, this is fantasy. Replace Shingo with Hiromu, and it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Tomohiro Ishii in a last man standing match.
Fucking insane, but you got to protect the Fiend, so I'm just going to go with him to beat Ishii.
ZSJ with Suzuki at his corner versus Daniel Bryan with Rowan in his corner in a submission match.
Salivating, but I'm going to go with Bryan, honestly.
Kenta and Sasha Banks versus Ibushi and Becky Lynch in an intergender tag team match.
I'm here for it. I'm team Kenta Banks all day.
AJ Styles versus Jon Moxley in a U.S. Championship unification match.
Kind of met on that since we've already seen them work together and the matches weren't bad, but not really anything exemplary to me. But I will say this Moxley against AJ Styles, maybe that would elevate it a bit. Ultimately, though, I'm gonna go with Moxley for this.
Tanahashi versus Kofi Kingston in a WWE Championship match.
Definitely an intriguing matchup. I'm gonna go with Tanahashi though.
Yeah, and finally, Seth Rollins versus Okada, champion versus champion.
That would be insane. I'm gonna go with the Ace though. I'm gonna go with the Rainmaker.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got 3 questions from Rotten Butter. First one is the usual first Rotten Butter question.
Yeah,
Normally we do this so much earlier. He really waited on this one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I read a lot of nerdy shit. You guys know that, so I'm not gonna do that.
What? You're just gonna skim over it like that? I want details, man. Details.
Oh my god, but why? Nobody cares about what I read.
Why would he ask the question if he didn't care?
Well, maybe, I don't know. I have my theories, but it's not going to get into it here. Palestinian scholar Edward Said, one book I'm really engrossed with is Orientalism. It's pretty much how Europe and European authorities in certain disciplines constructed the Orient, which doesn't just mean Asiatic countries like Japan and stuff like that, but also Arab countries. And pretty much about how when you construct the Orient, the substitution is meant to supplant the actual thing. So reading about an Arab from a European point of view is just supposed to be what an Arab is, because the European has that kind of authority, given colonialism, imperialism, all that stuff. Very fascinating read. I actually ordered 3 more Said books today. Definitely on that kick. I'm also reading a lot more of post-colonial theory. Please, for the love of God, nobody ask me what that is, because I've been meaning to watch 2 introductory videos to the very concept.
What? Normally, this is the time that I'd be like, oh, John, what is that? But I actually don't want you to have to answer it, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. And let's see, what else have I been reading? I mean, I've been trying to juggle other stuff. You know, I've been reading a lot of editorials. I actually read one interesting study about how climate denialism is also linked to like alt-right politics and misogyny. So that was an interesting study I read recently. Just trying to read, a few news articles, trying to stay on top of things. As far as like visual content, I watched Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. I enjoyed it. I think it did miss a bit of that original Invader Zim grit, especially in the aesthetic. The aesthetic looked a bit too clean to me at times, but overall I enjoyed it. Me and the family were still watching shows. We are slowly working through the final season of Orange is the New Black because it's depressing as fuck. So it's really kind of, torturing my soul. Played a shit ton of Rocket League. We actually just got done playing Rocket League a few hours ago, Ashton and I. Still playing 2K16, which just serves me so well because I listen to podcasts and stuff like that while doing it. Which, speaking of, I found this new YouTube channel that I like. I think it's been around a while, but it's new to me. What's it called? Let me log in real quick to this. It's Tom Nicholas. He's like a cultural kind of guy and literary and discusses all that kind of theory. So that's enough for me to kind of chew on. Listening to podcasts, all that shit. Kirby Freeman read the back of his cereal box. Hey, wherever you can get it, my man, wherever you can get it. Trying to think what else me and the family watched. Oh, we finished season 2 of Dark, which if anybody watches that show on Netflix, I can't follow it for a goddamn fucking thing, but Chris absolutely loves it. I think it's some of the best sci-fi in his mind that he's seen. So that was another thing we did. Trying to think what else. Oh, more Party Down South, an amazing trash reality show. Redneck culture is wonderful, aside from the racism and everything else. But, it's
Literally
not even
everything else.
yeah, exactly. But no, the cast is very likable. I think they drink way too much. I'd be surprised if any of those cast members see their 40s. But it's a fun time. It's a fun time if you just kind of suppress in the back of your mind how worried you are for these people. Mark, it's funny you mentioned that because I've been so psyched for the latest season, but we haven't gotten around to it yet. Like, seriously, me and the family have such a backlog of content of things that we want to watch. It's kind of scary. Speaking of content, me, Ashton, and his mom, we're almost done Ms. and Mrs. because we burned the fuck through it. We still have one episode left. We watched the pilot for The Righteous Gemstones, which was great. I loved it so much I watched it again just so that everything would be fresh in my mind. Danny McBride, I think, is one of my favorite actors going right now. He's freaking great. And John Goodman's a freaking legend. Like, come on now. Let's all be serious. John Goodman's pretty fucking awesome. Oh, yes. I wanted to share with you all, and then especially if Brandon's still here. Brandon, I watched most of 13 Reasons Why Season 3, but I broke it. I broke out of the spell, everyone. I spoiled for myself the main cliffhanger so I wouldn't have to watch the final 2 episodes. I'm free. I'm finally free from that good quality trash because it really is. It does so much harm to the discourse. So yeah, I think I'm cured of my 13 Reasons Why problem.
I am so proud of you for breaking out of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of my own face, sir. Because it was horrible. I was really trapped in there. And all because I was well-meaning enough. Oh, sure, Brandon, I'll watch the first season and give you my thoughts. Never again. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
This entire journey has been worth it if it led you to this conclusion.
Yeah. But yeah, so I finally broke out of that, which was great. I was going to watch, or I wanted to, but I had some company come. Which, speaking of, I watched Tournament of Death 18 CCW, and now I realize why we charge double on Patreon, because it wasn't a bad show, but I think I realized another thing that I don't like about overly hardcore wrestling, and that's that most, because there are outliers everywhere, but I feel like most of the wrestlers substitute actual wrestling holds and doing that whole process with crazy light tube spots or fire spots or things like that. And I don't like when people use weapons and that kind of brutality as a crutch. But I did find somebody in CCW that I'm a fan of from the Tournament of Death, Connor Claxton. The dude's an amazing fucking heel. In one of his matches, he just brutalized this guy. I think his name was Chondo, or that was part of his name. And clearly Claxton was a heel, beating the shit out of this dude. He even beat him up with a watermelon, which was hilarious because we all know fruit is deadly. And I thought they were going to do the babyface spot where Chondo gets stretchered out. He's going to get back up and this and that. Nope. What actually happened was he was stretchered out, but then Claxton comes off the apron with a double stop, carries Chondo all the way to a car, pile drives him on the hood of the car, and then pins him for a 3 count. This man is such an asshole that he took a guy that was practically dead and he drove him on his fucking neck on the hood of a car. I mean, guys, I gotta tell you, I was hot and bothered. So it was pretty amazing. So yeah, Connor Claxton's pretty cool. And so yeah, that was great. Let's see. I watched most of A Clockwork Orange because again, I had company still here. I had 44 minutes left, and I decided not to watch it because I wanted to organize with Ashton us doing NXT live reactions for all of your wonderful faces, so I can say I watched most of Clockwork Orange. So, like the book, I also didn't finish the movie. Look at me being consistent. Let me think. What else? I'm sure me and the family have watched even more stuff, but it's just not coming to me right now. So yeah. I think I'm just going to put a pin in it here. I'm going to head over to Ashton. What did you do this month?
We both watched The Boys.
That's true. That's true. And that was excellent, which is why I kind of smiled at Brandon's question, because we did see that. That was really good.
It was amazing. I love that show. You already mentioned the first episode of the Righteous Gemstones. We're probably going to watch another one in a few days, and we'll probably have to actually marathon through the second and third episodes in a few days. I'm really struggling to think of anything else that we've done this month, though. Like, was Spider-Man Far From Home this month or last month? I forget.
I think it was last month, partner.
Yeah. Honestly, most of the content that we've been watching this month has either been YouTube or Stardom. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of Stardom stuff. Like, we went back and watched the Costume Battle Royal, went back and watched the formation of Queen's Quest with Io betraying Mayu and then Momo betraying Mayu literally the next night.
Yeah. Fucking Momo.
She's your favorite, isn't she?
No, not
Watched the Jimmy Jacobs Chris Van Vliet interview, which was like really interesting and I don't know, just different. He's a character, man. He's a character.
That's one way to say it for sure.
God, what else did we watch this month or consume or anything? As far as trailers, so many trailers. There was already a Comic-Con sneak peek for The Magicians season 5. The Magicians is like one of my top 5 favorite TV shows right now. It is so good. Like The Magicians and Mr. Robot. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think ended this month. I'm pretty sure that was this month that it ended. And the ending was like one of my favorite endings to a single season of any series ever in the history of my life watching television. It was amazing. We've got Mr. Robot season 4 coming up in October, I want to say. That's going to be amazing. And we got a few trailers for that this month, actually. We got like a teaser earlier on in the month, and then we got an actual like trailer yesterday or the day before that we watched. That was pretty cool. What else? Let's see. What else did we watch this month, John? Just to us together.
Just us together.
Actually, I just got an idea. I'm gonna look at my history.
While you're doing that, I also want to mention, speaking of shows and stuff, last night I watched the trailer for Primal, Genndy Tartakovsky's latest animated show.
Oh!
I'm hyped as hell for it. So
we watched Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
That's right, we did do that. Dude, we do so much in a month. It's amazing the things I forget that we did.
Yeah, that was really good. I actually really enjoyed that movie. Oh, we also finished off our DC marathon this month. We watched Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, and Shazam this month.
That's right, we did. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and Suicide Squad too, but that was a rewatch. Wonder Woman was a rewatch too, but Justice League, Aquaman, and Shazam were all first-time things.
Yeah.
And Shazam was fucking awesome, and Aquaman was low-key really goddamn cool too. That was a great movie. It's funny because everyone always talks about, oh, DC movies suck. The animated movies in DC are where the money's at. But like, I don't other than Suicide Squad to me is more an exception than the rule. Because other than Suicide Squad, I've enjoyed every single DCEU movie that I've watched. All of them. I liked Man of Steel. It got a little slow about 2/3 of the way in, but I liked the movie. I loved BVS. I don't know what people get off hating that movie for. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman. I thought, honestly, Wonder Woman might be my favorite of the bunch. Justice League was great. Aquaman was really good. And Shazam was awesome. DCEU movies, other than Suicide Squad, have been really good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Undoubtedly.
And I think we need DCEU movies to be good too, because like we need a genre or like a production of superhero movies that isn't all about like wits and quips and jokes and, oh, we're about to save the world, but I still have time to comment on how goofy you look today. Ha 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 ha. Like, I love that from Marvel, but I don't want every superhero movie to be that. So like, in between watching Marvel movies, it's nice to get some more like serious toned superhero movies, and DCEU fills that niche really well.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I completely agree.
Yeah. All right. What else have we watched? You know what? I'm going to pull up Discord because you sometimes send links to me on Discord. This is helpful.
Hooray!
August. It's all just like Justice League and the Boys. And there's Jumanji and Ms. and Mrs. and Righteous Gemstones. So I think we've covered all that. Let me grab my phone here and I'll tell you what new music I have been listening to. First of all, just lately I've been listening to a lot of Alessia Cara. I really enjoy her music. And then I also, let's see, favorite current hits. Let's see what my last few songs, because I know one of them was an Alessia Cara. Yeah, it's called Okay Okay, and I love it. Kevin Michael dropped a new song for the first time in years, probably even over a decade at this point, and it's great. And like I literally just listened to it on repeat the other night and didn't get sick of it. And Grace Vanderwall is releasing new music this month too. That's been really good. She doesn't sound anything like she used to sound. Like puberty hit her hard, and it's not even a bad thing because she still sounds great. But she sounds very different from what I kind of grew to expect a couple years ago, like with Moonlight and stuff like that. But yeah, still good stuff. So that's about it for me. And you already did all yours, so I think we can move on, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Second question, what wrestler has the strongest social media game?
Oh, man. I even told Ashton I really like Randy Orton's Twitter game. I wish I liked him more as a person, or really that he wasn't so trash as a person to me, because I think he works Twitter beautifully. So yeah, I'm actually gonna go with Randy Orton.
I'm gonna go with MJF.
Yes.
No explanation needed, really, right?
No, not at all.
All right, then. Next question. What's the deal with airline food?
Oh God. Honestly, never had it. I mean, I know. It's the thing comedians do in that whole bit, but
it's Jerry Seinfeld on an episode of SNL, I believe.
Right.
It's funny because for the longest time I thought that was just a bit that Jerry Seinfeld did as a part of his stand-up act, but it's actually from SNL.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
And he was actually playing like a TV show host, and that was one of the questions for like the game show was, what's the deal with airline food? You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
All right. I think we're ready to move on, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Guess who's next, John?
Who?
I am asking you to guess for a reason.
Abel?
Yes!
Awesome. What do we got?
First question from Abel. This son of a bitch, man. What are your thoughts on the top 10 of the PWI 500?
Funny thing was, I actually commented on this on Twitter today, so I actually kind of got ahead of this question without even realizing it. I said, because just to recap for people that don't know, so you can be in the know on the conversation, the PWI 500 top 10 are number 1, Seth Rollins, 2, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Okada, Johnny Gargano, Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega, Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay. And I said, I know it's a marquee and kayfabe list and all that, but Daniel Bryan greater than Seth Rollins. And then I said, also, does the PWI 500 explicitly include women? Because if not, how the fuck is Becky not number 1? Somebody did.
Oh, yeah, it does. They have a female 50 that they do separately.
Yeah, and somebody did make me aware of that. But you know, as far as like a kayfabe here, somebody replied to me that and I was hard pressed to disagree. They said, kayfabe-wise, Rollins won the Royal Rumble and defeated Lesnar twice. One of those victories being clean, I'll add to that.
No, that's not true either. Rollins defeated Lesnar once during this grading period. It ended in June.
Okay. Either way, though, won the Rumble, beat Lesnar, and 2 tag titles. I'm guessing only one of those would count, and 1 IC title run. I think that pretty much beats Bryan's 100-day title run. So, yeah. I still felt like Bryan's...
Wait, did you just say that Bryan's title run was only 100 days?
Well, I'm quoting the person that replied to me, so technically they're saying it.
Well, they're fucking wrong. He held the title for 5 months. It was closer to 150 than 100.
Right.
Plus, he held tag titles in the grading period, too, with Rowan.
That is true. He did. That is true. I just feel like Daniel Bryan, and I'm sorry, because like I think the New Day are immensely talented, and maybe they would have gotten there another way. But Daniel Bryan really was that guy that pushed them from a really strong, really likable upper mid-card act to that main event sphere, and mainly Kofi, because I know Xavier and Big E are still doing their thing, but yeah, I mean, Brian,
right, but that's not really looking at it from a kayfabe perspective.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I mean, either way, even if they got some stuff wrong, Seth had a really strong year kayfabe wise. Hard to argue that. I mean, me personally, I feel like, can you really get any better than owning the IWGP Heavyweight Championship the way that Okada does? But yeah, I mean, WWE is the big game in town, so it's apparent that whoever does this PWI 500, they're just going to look at that more. So Seth Rollins makes sense. And again, I feel like if I were to say any more than that, it would just be giving more energy than a kayfabe list deserves. So, yeah. And speaking of giving it more energy than it deserves, now you got to talk about what you think about it.
Yeah, the grading period is July 1st from the previous year to June 30th of the year that the list gets put out. So,
yeah.
All right, and Abel's not even here to enjoy it. Anyway, next up, who is on your Mount Rushmore of heels?
Ciampa. You know what? Because it's a personal thing, I am going to say early 2000s Triple H, because I hated him as a kid. And not even in that go away heat, because I wouldn't even know what that was. So, Ciampa, Triple H, let's see. Heels. Fuck. Samoa Joe. I think especially the stuff with AJ, he really took it to personal territory that I loved, and with such conviction. Suzuki, Minoru Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? God, because I feel like there are people, you know what I really hate about questions like these? Is that, like, we answer them, and then I guarantee you, like, a week or two later, I'll remark how somebody's a really good heel, and then I didn't give them the proper respect in the form of this question. So I'm probably going to live with that regret now, but, who would be my fifth heel?
You need 4, dude. You're fine.
Oh, okay. So we're good then, because I said, yeah, Suzuki. Yeah, we're good. All right.
Who were it? It was Suzuki, Joe,
Ciampa,
and who was the fourth one? I thought you only listed 3. Those are the only 3 that I remember.
God damn it. All right. Then my fourth one, you know what? I'll say Seth Rollins. His heel run was really effective. And, I mean, hell, he threatened to paralyze Edge to get the Authority back in power. So, yeah, I'll give it to heel Seth Rollins.
All right. So, Vince McMahon definitely needs to be on there, in my opinion, or
yeah.
Mr. McMahon character. And then I would also add in there Brock Lesnar, because just everyone hates him. And I mean, even going back to his first run, he was a babyface for a period, but he was mostly a heel. So that, Mr. McMahon, Brock Lesnar, 2004 Randy Orton, almost actually, like, I almost let my hatred for him ruin my school life, because I had a teacher that reminded me of him and I hated him because of it. So Randy Orton's up there, and no one mentioned it, so JBL.
Yeah, it's a great pick too.
And I like how Brock is maybe a little more of an exception to this rule, but out of the 4 guys that I picked, at least 3 of them are actual heels in real life too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because JBL, true. Vince, and Orton are all kind of pieces of shit outside the business too.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Third question from Abel. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of baby faces?
Kyrie.
Okay.
Stone Cold.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that.
I'd say The Rock too.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan.
That's 4, dude.
There we go.
Why do you always think Mount Rushmore is 5 people?
I don't know, man. I'm tired. It's your turn.
All right. Hulk Hogan. Mick Foley. Let's see. Goldberg. And let's Tanahashi.
Next question.
Fourth question from Abel. Who is the most underrated wrestler of this era?
I still say Ishii. I think he's being recognized more, but the dude's so good. I don't think he'll ever really get the proper recognition that he deserves, so I'm going to say Ishii.
That's definitely fair. I don't really know if I can outdo that, honestly. Like that's pretty much like the best possible answer. Yeah, I'm just gonna sign on to Ishii, honestly. Yeah, that's a great answer. Fifth and final question from Abel. For me only, who are your top 5 fantasy football players at every position in order? So for those of you that don't care about football, you don't have to tune out. This shouldn't take more than like a minute or two because there are only 4 relevant positions in fantasy that I'm gonna go over. So for quarterback, oh God. For quarterback, Deshaun Watson 1, Baker Mayfield 2, Mahomes 3. Fuck. Abel's gonna love this. Lamar Jackson 4. And I'm no, I don't want to put Rodgers up there because he's kind of fallen off a little bit. Let's say shit. Cam Newton 5, just in case he has an outlier year. It's an odd year. He tends to do better in odd years anyway. So yeah, so Watson, Mayfield, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Cam Newton. So then we get to running back. Assuming Ezekiel Elliott's holdout ends before the season, he's number 1. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, and David Johnson. If Ezekiel Elliott's holdout does last into the season, that knocks him out of the top 5 completely. And I would say 1, Christian McCaffrey, 2, Saquon Barkley, 3, Alvin Kamara, 4, David Johnson, 5, James Conner. So there you go. Wide receivers, 1, Devontae Adams, 2, DeAndre Hopkins, 3, Tyreek Hill, 4, Juju Smith-Schuster, 5, Odell Beckham. And tight ends, I mean, first of all, no one cares about tight ends, but yeah, 1, Kelsey, 2, Kittle, 3, Ertz, 4, Howard, 5, Ingram. There you go. Up next, we've got one question from a new user named Noob and Co. on Twitter. And their question was, what would you think if the Kabuki Warriors would turn heel? They also added that they say they take the Sasha Banks route by attacking Charlotte to further the story on why the Kabuki Warriors have been relegated to a pre-show match and Charlotte is on the main event of this year's WrestleMania. What do you think of that?
Honestly, I'm not down with it. If I'm being incredibly truthful, it is nothing against Asuka personally. I also feel like she's been booked pretty much like shit, save for a few moments in her SmackDown Women's Championship run, like her rematch with Becky, or her match with Becky, because she won it in a triple threat, TLC match, was really good. But I feel like that's almost been the highlight of Asuka's main roster run because they've handled her so horribly. But I'm over Kabuki Warriors. Like, I liked it as a short-term thing, thinking they'd get the titles, maybe have a brief run with them, and then they'd move on. I would much rather Asuka turn heel on Kairi. Give us a heel Asuka, keep Kairi as a baby.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Because I'm not saying Kairi couldn't work as a heel. I will never tell that beautiful woman what she can and cannot do. But,
I mean, we've seen her as Doku. She's capable of at least exhibiting heelish tendencies.
Right. But, like, I think there's just so much value there with her as a babyface.
Yeah.
You need to commit to that, and I feel like Asuka, how I would do it personally, because I really just don't like Noob's idea, personally. I would have Asuka turn on Kairi. I don't know how long it'll take for Paige to come back on television because she had serious surgery. But let's say, hypothetically, she would come back relatively soon, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then she turns on Kairi, and she aligns with Asuka. So
yeah, and that could work even better too, because then Asuka could still cut her Japanese promos. Paige could translate, or Paige could just be like, Asuka doesn't feel like any of you are worthy of hearing her speak, and just speak for her, kind of deal.
Because I feel like Kairi's English is adequate enough to at least.
It is. It definitely is. Asuka. Honestly, it's weird because Asuka's been around for like a year or maybe even more than a year longer than Kairi, but Kairi's English is so much better. And I heard how bad Kairi's English was before she came to the US. It was not good. It was downright bad. It was worse than Asuka's was when she got to the US. And she has worked her ass off and improved at such an incredible rate that she is now the best, most fluent English speaker of the Japanese speaking women, the native Japanese women in the WWE to me.
Yeah. So, like, pair Paige with Asuka.
Yeah.
So it feels like everybody is against Kairi. You give Asuka a few wins, but you give Asuka the advantage quantitatively, but qualitatively you give it to Kairi, which is to say that Asuka may beat Kairi more, but Kairi wins more bigger matches. Like, I think I already said a while back on a previous Q&A that in the Women's Rumble, I would have Kairi eliminate Asuka last, since Asuka won the very first Women's Rumble. And obviously she wasn't even in it last year because she was SmackDown Women's Champion. So for Kairi to eliminate Asuka when she won the first one and wasn't even in the second one would be a huge fucking deal. And that would be how she wins, and that's how we get Kairi Mania. Like, Again, I don't mean to go on rant territory because Noob's a good dude and he asked a sincere question, but I am just so over Kabuki Warriors, and like I'm really kind of over them mistreating Kairi in general. But I think if you wanted to get both back on track, Asuka turning heel would revitalize her in my mind and just have her fucking dominate people. Kairi would get the sympathy as a babyface because if WWE would actually allow their women to tell a story and have range, I would have Asuka brutalize Kairi, but Kairi just not fucking quit and keep coming back for more, and then she gets the vindication winning the Women's Rumble, because I want people behind Kairi if she's going to be in the women's title picture. I'm seeing what Sasha's doing. You have no idea how I'm salivating for a Kairi-Sasha matchup, but if Sasha were to face Kairi as she is now, and I'm going to be truthful, I wouldn't blame anybody for thinking that should be a squash match, because when you have Alexa fucking Bliss pin Kairi twice, what else are you going to have people think? So excuse me.
That was adorable.
I just wouldn't do it. I think Kabuki Warriors has been a bust. I still like the idea of Paige, being in WWE, in this capacity, so I'm not anti her either. Plus, with all the flack she's gotten on social media because of her boyfriend and his apparently bigoted views and shit, you might as well turn her heel too and kind of piggyback off that heat. WWE's done more shameless things in their history. Don't tell me that that's a fucking leap.
I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, and I just think it would be great for everybody if they just broke it off the way that I'm suggesting, and then we can really start getting serious about Kairi Mania, because as it stands right now, the best we can hope for Kairi Mania is her winning the fucking Women's Battle Royal, because, that's changed careers.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with the initial question is they're suggesting that attacking Charlotte would make the Kabuki Warriors turn heel. Charlotte is a heel.
Yeah, I don't know where they were, going with invoking Charlotte, but I was even kind of scratching my head at that. I'm like, that would be the wrong way to go anyway. And two, I don't want to prolong this tag team any longer than we need to. Learn that Japanese people are fucking people. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, I hate it too, because it's like they don't seem to... It's like WWE insists on portraying these Japanese women as, these super hyper naive, oh, look, there's a shiny thing over here. This is more important than winning the match that I'm in, even though that they're some of the biggest badasses on the planet.
Yeah, dude, it's not that fucking hard. It just seems very common sense to me. It's kind of a similar thing with us talking about Stardom today. Don't alienate your fucking foreign audience, especially when they're willing to pay for your service. How can you alienate money because it doesn't come from a source that you like? Well, I mean, okay, maybe that's a bit too broad, but you get my general point. And then with this, it's they're fucking people. Just learn how to write for people. I don't know. I didn't mean for this to turn into a rant, but I'm such a diehard Kairi fan that just seeing her be misutilized honestly makes me fucking sick. And clearly, like Foster said, I'm allergic because this is the first time I've sneezed in a commentary in God knows how long. So fuck you, WWE, for just everything. Oh my God. Next question.
Oh, you're amazing. All right. Next question. We've got 5 from Foster, and this is our last 5 for this Q&A. First up for John, moments in anime you loved that didn't make any sense.
God, Foster, I saw your question, and I'm not trying to dog out on you, but I was really hard-pressed to think about moments that I loved that didn't make any sense. I just found that weird. You know what? There is one, and this is the only one I'm going to answer you with, and I'm sorry if you wanted more, but this is the only one I can genuinely think of. The debut of the Final Flash when it only took Cell's arm, when I feel like it should have been treated similarly to the Warp Kamehameha, where it took Cell's whole torso off. Like, I know they argued that Cell moved, but even if he did, like, I don't know. It just seemed like the blast connected before he could make any meaningful moves. It should have taken more than just his arm off. So yeah, I'm going to say the debut of the Final Flash was like an anime moment that I loved because of the music, the hype, just Vegeta charging it up slowly, Cell's arrogance, everything was perfect. And then the dust clears, literally, and you just see that Cell's missing an arm and he regenerates it seconds later. It's like, God fucking damn it. Like, it's not even just that they won't give Vegeta a win, although I am biased and I do think that that's a problem. It's just like, wow, you're really going to bitch the move out like that when there was all this build-up? I don't mind him regenerating, but just an arm? Really? So that's my answer to that question. Next question.
Next question is just for me. What characters from the league should join our fantasy league? Taco and Rafi, because they're both the most entertaining characters on the show and the easiest to beat in fantasy, so I'm not at risk of losing.
That was very well thought out for you. Nicely done.
Third question from Foster. Should Kenta have joined Suzuki-gun instead of Bullet Club?
I think Bullet Club's a better fit for him, and I actually liked what Ashton said on live reactions when it happened. Actually, no, you might not have said this on live reactions, but I know for sure you said this in conversation to me, that you feel like Kenta joining Bullet Club made Bullet Club cool again. Yeah. I feel like Bullet Club needed Kenta far more than Suzuki-gun did. So I think it was a good call. I would say no. No. Okay.
He did add to the question, if Suzuki hates this question, you didn't hear it from me. So I thought that was funny.
Oh, man, I'm kind of tempted to add Suzuki now, but I do love you, Foster, so I won't do it.
Ping his face! Ping his face! Fourth question from Foster, though. How would you guys book a mode for the 24/7 title in a video game?
God, see, like, because it's a video game, I don't know, God, because I really know nothing about video games on the technical side, right? But I would make it, I know this is going to seem weird, but try and follow me here because I'm grasping at straws. Actually, you're laughing. Do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I kind of have an idea, but I'm working it out in my mind. You go.
Okay. Well, I was just thinking like something like Sims-based.
Oh, dude, that's the same thing I was thinking. Holy.
No fucking way. Are you serious?
I was like, it's The Sims, but randomly at certain points while you're living your life, someone comes up with a referee and tries to roll you up.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you really wanted to make it 24/7, right? Like, I just feel like that's the best way to do it. Holy fuck, we share one mind.
And then I was like, but wait, wouldn't it be even better if it was like Minecraft and you had to worry about like keeping yourself safe from monsters and building a house and like automating things, and then next thing you know, you're just on your back looking up at the sky wondering what went wrong.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
So the secret to a good 24/7 championship video game is to make it not a wrestling game, is to make it an actual game where you have goals and objectives that can be distracted from with 24/7 title shots.
Yeah. Wow.
We had the same idea there. That's amazing.
All right.
Final question of this Q&A. Fifth and final question from Foster. If you guys were referees, what would your characters be like?
Oh, I would do a fast count for all the heels and a slow count for all the baby faces. Because I would just be in support of all the villainy and just wrestling be run by true evil. And I would say that, like, I've hated children ever since I got this job, so I knew I was going to dedicate myself to making sure that they would never get an officially sanctioned win as long as I was around, that being their heroes. So, like, Braun would never win, Roman would never win, stuff like that. And, yeah, I would just be a guy that would want to make the wrestling product just absolutely miserable for everybody by just having villains reign supreme. So that would just be my character very straightforwardly.
If I were a referee, my character would be that I don't have a character and I'm just a good referee who catches everything and makes fair 3 counts, because referees having characters is bad for wrestling.
There you go. Well, that was quite a pin to put in it. I am shocked, actually, that we got through this Q&A in exactly
2 hours, baby!
I thought it was going to be a lot longer with some of those questions. Abel...
But, Abel, you know, with your Mount Rushmore and your name your top 5 players at every fantasy position questions, goal.
But you know what though, he is beautiful, so he probably had every right to do it. I don't know.
Why do you have to be so right all the time? John?
I don't know, okay? He's just precious, and I want to protect him, and it's hard. It's hard for me, okay? But yeah, that was Q&A, everyone. You actually had really good questions that didn't make me want to kill myself. So great job there. Let's keep it up for next month, because September Q&A is going to be, drumroll please, not really, September 26th. I said not really, sir.
You said not really after I already dedicated myself to it. I'm sorry.
I don't know. All right, so September.
I committed to something and stuck to it. You should be proud of me.
When have I ever been proud of you? Unironically, in this space, in private, sure, because nobody.
You
else
did
sees
say
that.
September 26th, though, right? Not 27th.
That is correct. Yes. September
Okay,
26th.
just wanted to make sure. But yeah, that's 4 whole weeks away.
Yeah, so you guys have plenty of time to get your questions in. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. Of course, to get access to the Discord, you need to donate $3 to the TWitWoW Patreon. But at that low price, not only do you get Discord access, which means more intimate access to our faces and other diehard TWitWoW fans, you also get up to 5 Q&A questions as opposed to 3. That's 2 whole questions more than non-Patreon donors.
And not only that, but it looks like, I don't know, John, if you've looked at our Patreon recently, but it's looking like we are going to manage to hit our $100 goal, which means that we are going to leave it up to our patrons to determine whether we do one big, full-blown WWE catch-up commentary in September, or if we do 2 smaller ones.
That's right. It's going to be very interesting. So yeah, there is that. And as far as just standard TWitWoW content, we will see you all tomorrow at 7 for, what are we doing tomorrow? It's all out preview predictions, right?
Yep. We've got AEW preview predictions all out, and then we've also at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, after we're done with our preview predictions, we're going to be doing our first ever WWE catch-up commentary, looking at the last 2 weeks of WWE content between Raw, SmackDown, 205, NXT UK, and NXT. All.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll see you guys then at 7 tomorrow, and I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do hope that you all enjoyed this Q&A, of course. If you did, remember to like this video, click the bell icon, join the notification squad, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we will see you tomorrow, because you gotta check that out. We've got AEW All Out preview predictions coming at you tomorrow, and we've also got the WWE catch-up commentary. And then on Saturday, we've got another doubleheader. We're going to be doing live reactions to Royal Quest from New Japan and All Out. And then on Sunday, we've got another doubleheader, because we're going to do Stardom live reactions, assuming everything is uploaded in time. And we've got our 5 Fave 5s video coming up. So that's going to be a whole hell of a lot of fun. That should be very interesting. And then we would just appreciate it if you guys supported the channel. Lots of ways you can do that, though. You can follow us on Twitter, on Twitch. You can like the Facebook page. You can buy our merch on Teespring. Donate to the Patreon, like John mentioned earlier. Of course, though, the biggest thing is that you share this channel and share this video with all your wrestling fan friends and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube wrestling community. We are TWitWoW, and we are the workhorses of the YWC, and I already mentioned all the stuff that's coming at you over the next few days. Next week, I think we're planning on live reacting to NXT, and then Stardom. We'll find a place for Stardom. I mean, we usually try and do those on Thursdays, but with the drama going on with them, letting go of Sonny and then bringing him back and everything, we don't know exactly when things are going to get back on track, but we're hoping that it's sooner than later. Regardless, we are going to live react to the 5-star, all of it, like in its entirety. We're going to do our best to make sure that we catch everything. So we hope you're all looking forward to that, and of course, we hope that you all remember to stay tuned.